Hello,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm pretty busy these days, but everything's fine. How are you?
Thank you, thank you. Holiday season, yeah, holiday season keeping us busy, right?
Yeah, more than we can imagine.
Of course, of course. But I appreciate your taking the time to have this call with me. Actually, these first meetings, they are pretty basic for me to better
Mhm.
understand what you guys have in mind reaching out to us, to see if we could help you or not, like with the capacity of my team, whether we could come up with a proper solution. And then, if it makes sense for us to move forward, if you feel so towards the end of the call, then we can think of the next steps and approve them. Does it sound good?
Mhm. Yeah, sounds logical. So,
Okay.
where should we start? Should I tell you like whether my vision is or what are the
Actually,
main? Mhm.
what I wanted to ask first is, what caught your attention? What made you reach out to us in the first place? Because, I received the initial request that you guys are looking for building a mobile app, and I'm just
Mhm.
wondering whether you came across our website or how did you find out about us overall?
Um, well, I was actually surfing the net and trying to
Mhm.
find different agencies who would be able to help me with implementing my ideas. And I'll be honest, like I'm talking to several companies,
Sure.
and I'm trying to understand who is the best match. Mainly, I reached out to you in particular because I believe my product is not too complex,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore we can find a kind of a fast solution. Yeah, I don't need anything supernatural, so to say. So I'm counting on a fast and rather simple process with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And considering a couple of vendors is perfectly logical. Like
Hmm.
I would do the same for sure, to see whether or not you're making the right choice. But what I wanted to clarify here, you mentioned you were looking for the fast and simple solution here. So, like, what made you feel that, fast and simple is, the match with us? Maybe by the website or something you noticed in particular.
I've read a lot of feedback,
Mm.
and people said that you are quite uh how do I explain this better? So, I mean, you're easy to work with, so to say. Yeah, so you're responsive and you also take into account what the customer wants more than you actually like try to implement your own ideas. That's exactly what I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking for because when I said that my product is quite simple, I do understand that it might be like what everybody says, but on the other hand, what I need, like the app is more uh, not developing it's not to develop anything new. It's more like taking different ideas and connecting them in a one product. So it shouldn't be like we have a saying like developing a bicycle, so to say, yes,
Uh-huh. From scratch, yeah,
feature.
yeah.
So it's more from that perspective. But I feel like I wouldn't be able to explain it quite good if I don't go deeply into details. So let's just say it's communication to answer your question. Yes, it's
Yes, yes.
communication thing.
Hmm. Actually, what I appreciate here is that you highlighted right from the very beginning what is important for you um, in these relations with the technical partner. And I don't want to say vendor specifically because I assume it's about building something maybe fast enough, maybe simple enough, but still it's something that is supposed to last for a long time, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna dive deeper into that, I'm sure, in a couple of minutes, but still. And thank you for highlighting that. I'm glad that you looked into reviews right away, because it's better to, see what other people tell
Mhm.
about you than, trying to make something out of yourself. So yeah, appreciate that a lot. And now, as for the product itself, so yeah, we do have requests with more or less typical solutions, and usually we can even, use some templates, pre-made templates, like libraries, like related to maybe some basic functionality, etc., that helps speed up the process. But obviously, for that, I mean, to evaluate the simplicity or the complexity, that would need us to dive deeper into the technical side of business, and I usually attract the technical team for that.
Mhm.
But for the sake of this intro conversation, could you please briefly describe what the application is supposed to reach in terms of goals? What are you guys trying to do with it? Why do you need it? And like, give me maybe some brief understanding of why exactly you came up with this app, what it's supposed to do for you guys.
Sure. So first of all, let me start with the business vision. Yes. So it's a apartment, a rental app, where people could rent flats.
Okay.
And we do not, like on our local market in Ukraine, we do not have. We actually have three that people can use for that purpose, but none of them is good enough, or how to say, I mean, it doesn't have the security. So my main idea, like a business idea, was to create an app where both landlords and rentees can verify their accounts, have their accounts actually, because we have 3 apps in Ukraine now that are functioning in that area. But you can log in into those apps, but it's like you can say whatever, say, I mean, Mr. X or something like that. But my idea is that every user has to be verified. I mean, maybe I would even want to say that it should be government issued ID verification. We have something like Dia app, and maybe it should be like login with Dia. I'll explain to you later what that actually means. But anyway, I mean, it's a government issued ID app verification in that apartment rental app for both sides. And to cut the long story short, in the end, every app user will have a public a public profile in the app where people can find rentees or landlords based on their reviews, current feedback, some like other things, and they can be sure that it's not some random person on the market, but someone who is verified. And it should be like MVP. And then I have like tons of ideas how to develop. But the idea is a rental with verification.
Okay, makes sense. And you mentioned that you already have this solid understanding of the local market where you want to enter with the app. So you guys have some proper market research in place. Maybe you already have some user base who are ready to test this MVP. I mean, what is the business plan behind, for instance, let's say we create for you an MVP within whatever the timeline is suitable. Let's say, I don't know, 1-2 months for the sake of example. And what happens next? So what is your plan, I mean, for making things work?
So I've already I have a partner in this. So I'm more tech person. So I'm trying to find a proper solution for the development. But I also have a partner who is responsible for sales and marketing, and we already have developed the strategies. Yes, you're right. We did the market research. We've also like estimated the costs for the launch and whatever we're trying to substitute also here, because it's a bit harsh, but like I'll say it anyway. I mean, local market in Ukraine is also kind of old school. So I told you about these 3 current apps. You will also have to beat them in a very smart way, because like you want to be careful when you are trying to launch new businesses here. So we've also like talk about the partnerships and some other strategies, but basically we do have sales and marketing strategy developed, ready to launch. So we will need the estimates of the MVP, and we will launch it for the beta testing group and all that.
That sounds like a good plan. I'm just, you know what I'm wondering is that, like you mentioned, you already have these things calculated and everything, and you are responsible for the technical side of business while your partner is handling like the sales and marketing. I'm wondering, what is your vision? For instance, what if, like, how much time you guys give yourself to have this research phase, finding the vendor phase, you know, like before you need to start, like any timelines or deadlines you've got in mind?
No, we actually don't, because the idea has been growing for 5 years now. I mean, it's like it's more like it's more like a hobby for us. So, you know, we all have things to do, but we've faced lots of troubles in that respect on the local market, and we wanted it to work a lot. I wouldn't say social project, but something like, you know, it's not really business for business sake. It's more we're investing our time and effort and money into something that we see market really needs. And since it's our homeland, we really want to support that area, because lots of people always argue about that. And like there are lots of shady things happening, so to say, and all of that. So we don't need it by tomorrow. We don't need it by 2 months from now or anything like that. It's more, we're finally on a stage where we are trying to put all our ideas in action. So we're not tied in time.
Oh wow. You know, my personal favorite types of projects is when obviously business is about having the successful venture that brings you profit, right? But when there's also this social or big idea that is behind, that is very inspiring. But still, I mean, for us to understand here, like you mentioned, we are finally at the stage when we have this, when we have everything in place to put those ideas that have been nurtured for 5 years in action. What happened? Like, why now? Why now? Not maybe a year ago.
It's a natural process. I don't know. We have like it's not that everything just flows. Yes, so we put a strategy a long time ago, and we're just following that strategy. But our deadlines, it's like in 2026, we have to have the MVP of the app. But if it's like March, May, or September, it doesn't really matter. It's like we're planning, but not very. We're not being harsh on ourselves, let's say it like that. So we need it by the end of next year.
That makes sense. Perfect sense. But what if, for instance, what if it doesn't happen by the end of 2026 for any kind of reason? For instance, I don't know, maybe you don't agree on the technical partner to do the development or any other reason, whatever it may be. What if it doesn't happen in 2026 or
Well,
2027?
it's technically impossible because, I mean, as I told you, yes, I don't think it's a big development for the MVP part. It shouldn't be very hard. Something really big has to stop us from that, and that would be force majeure or something like that. But under normal circumstances, I don't think we have to discuss that because it's just like before I see the costs and the timeline and the efforts that needs to be put in place, I don't see the reason to discuss that.
Okay, makes sense. The reason I was asking to be more precise is, not necessarily that MVP would take that long, but maybe if you don't feel, there are strict deadlines and no investors are waiting, when how things happen when you are a startup and you have these investors who have put some funds and have strict timeline for you guys to show some results. When you don't have this kind of pressure on your shoulders, you might spend more time for starting a new milestone, and the development would be a new milestone here. So I was just asking whether or not you feel like, it's time to start now. So maybe, for instance, let's say you and I are talking today, you would have maybe a couple of calls with some of my colleagues from other companies. You maybe already have had a couple of calls previously. And I mean, how much time do you guys give yourself to explore what options are there before you actually need to start the active development? That was basically what I was trying to understand,
That would be a month, I think.
About a month for understanding.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. And what kind of information do you guys need to have in front of you to understand who would be the right fit for you guys? What kind of info you expect to have from the vendors?
Well, as I have already told you, first and foremost, the communication itself. So, you get to know the people during all those interviews from my side and investigation process and how people reach out and how they respond and how they communicate and all that. So that would be the very first, because to be honest, from my personal experience, that is 50% of success, because if people communicate, then it's much easier for you to make impossible things possible, even sometimes. Yes, because you can always negotiate, you can make deals, and you can find solutions together and all of that. If there is no room for negotiations and communication, then if you're waiting for the responses for two weeks or something like that, or if they put too strict deadlines that this is sprint one and that ends in 2 weeks, and then you have no impact on anything in the process, because since it's a small project, we might have new ideas in the process, and we might be changing things in the process. We understand we have to pay for that and all of that, but we need that room for communication and for and sometimes people don't really get into that. They just want technical order, and they will get back to you in 6 months, here's what you've asked for. So that's not our way. And so that's first, a personal impression, so to say, from the communication. Second would be time, and third would be money, of course.
Of course, yeah, makes sense. And I mean, when it comes to making decisions like this, you are responsible for the technical side. You mentioned your partner is responsible for the sales and marketing. But I mean, how do usually guys decide when it comes, to choosing, for instance, this kind of vendor? What is the typical process you go through?
Good question. I don't know. We don't have a process, so to say. I can't answer really that question. It's
Mhm.
more natural. Say, I don't know, there are 10 vendors. I would say like I absolutely love these two, and other two are okay.
Mhm, mhm.
6 are totally no, and out of 4, these are the timings, these are the prices. Like, what do you think? So does it mean that? So yeah, I would do the initial filtering, and
Okay.
then I'll just brainstorm with my partner. That's it.
Make perfect sense. The reason I'm asking is because, it really differs from client to client how this process looks like. And I'm asking is because sometimes there are people who are directly impacted by, for instance, our input, right?
Mm-hmm.
And usually it helps a lot when at later stages of our estimation process, because if you feel like we have this initial match, this is just the intro call. Later we would need to have this interaction. I would need to involve my technical team to better understand, the technical aspects of your vision of this future app. I assume we would have, maybe this bigger vision, and we would break it down to the MVP scope, but also maybe we would be able to give you some understanding of how the future app might look like, and maybe how much time and budget it might take, for later stages, to have this, couple of steps further. And all of that takes additional meetings, etc., etc. And I was wondering if it makes sense for us maybe to involve somebody from your team as well who would be directly impacted and involved, because usually this type of cooperation, it helps to see if there is a match before we even get to actually, start to work. Like a demo version to see if we get on or not, and
Yeah, I get you. So at the first stage is no, because it's only 2 of us, so there is no need for my partner to participate in any tech part. But maybe after we have like a final offer from you and we review it, definitely like a summary meeting or Q&A and stuff, I will invite him for sure.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, perfect. And as for the things you have already considered for this application. So obviously you have some vision in mind. Do you have any kind of maybe high level technical requirements, any types of documentation, because you mentioned you have this technical background, anything you could possibly share with me that I might transfer to my technical team, and we could, have a deeper look and, base our estimation upon?
Yeah. But I would ask you to sign an NDA with me first,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
then I can share with you have a pitch deck, and I have a technical document, a simple one, and I can share it with you.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So if we are to proceed later for, a deeper estimation, etc., usually the next steps are I will send you a quick follow-up email. We have our standard NDA. Would you prefer ours, or maybe you guys have some template of your own?
Um, uh, Considering the intellectual property rights, I would really appreciate if we could sign our version. That would
Of
be
course.
much easier for our team.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So usually when this is, like any kind of agreement from the client, it usually takes, I don't know, from a couple of hours to one working day for our legal team to, quickly review. If like as soon as I have an approval from them, we sign on our end, then I get this approval, you get the signed version, and we might proceed with this technical part. So you will be able to share some materials with us. And I would suggest scheduling the call for the next week, because I assume a couple of days would be enough for us to handle all this boring operational legal
Okay.
stuff. So if you have your calendar handy now, maybe we could try to, book some time for the next week. If anything changes, we can then quickly amend. How do you feel about that? For the
How about
technical session.
yeah, I have no problems with that, but usually like my agenda changes daily. How about
Mhm.
when we have an NDA signed? I will send you my Calendly link and you can book a call right there, because it would like, now I can promise you one thing, but then in 2 days time things can change. So is it okay, like after the after you have a green light from your team for the next discussion, you can just follow up with me and I'll send you the link and you can book the. Usually I'm available within the next day or two, so it shouldn't be a problem. You don't really have to pre-book any time within a week.
Yeah, that is totally fine, not a problem at all. The thing is that sometimes I have problems with, this like booking in a day or so, because my calendar gets very full with calls and everything. That's why when I have already, the initial connection and we feel there is potential for further dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I try to book in advance, to make sure I have the available slot for you, so we don't have, to chase each other. So that's why I'm suggesting, simply booking. If anything changes on your end, I understand agenda might change. That's totally fine. We can then try to rebook. I can use your link you send me. So if you don't mind, I would suggest booking something beforehand and then we can amend, okay?
Okay,
Good.
no problem. Then yeah, when you send me the follow-up, I'll respond with the link
All right.
and then we can take it from there.
All right, all right. Sounds good. Now as for the next week, any particular day or time you like? Give me one moment. So today is 31st. How about the 8th of January? Because I will
Second.
send you the follow-up and I will send you right away the invitation so you have it all together at once.
Mm, that could work after lunch.
Okay. How about 2 p.m.?
Okay,
Perfect.
sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. So I will send you everything, like the invitation and quick follow-up. We'll be waiting for your NDA template. As soon as I have the confirmation from the legal team, we sign it. Then we can proceed with the technical part, the most fun part. And I will invite the tech guys from my end. If you feel like you want to add some additional ideas, whatever, please feel free to like send it into our email thread or maybe make adjustments in the in the document itself. So like whatever works.
Okay, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand. So on the 8th, is it the meeting with a technical team or is it with you again to discuss some business side?
I will invite the technical team for sure, because by that time I expect us to already have some deeper look
Mm.
into your document so that we can already, have this substantial talk on the technical side as well.
Uh-huh, okay. And then like, so we discussed the tech part and sorry, I was not really paying attention. So, and then after the meeting on the 8th, you will send me the offer or how does it work?
It depends how that particular meeting goes, because really, usually the process is individual, can like it depends on the client's request. So currently, from what you explained to me, it doesn't sound like a very complicated application. I mean, you know, the idea and everything makes a lot of sense. You have this distinguishing competitive advantage in terms of the feature that would differentiate you in the market, etc., etc. And depending on what you have in that document, how many questions our technical team would have, it is likely that this additional hour of brainstorm and Q&A session with my tech team would be enough for us to go, sit, create the evaluation, and get back to you with an offer. So basically, it might be the scenario where we have this call with the tech team, and then we have another meeting where I get back to you and present the offer, and we discuss whether or not it suits you guys. But there are cases when things look easy, but you know, when we dive deeper, some interesting additional things might appear. And there is a possibility, in our case, I don't feel like this is something very likely to happen, but still, I need to tell you, like, you know, beforehand, that we might need to have maybe additional session with the tech team to, you know, like maybe discuss what kind of avenues, what kind of ways we might feel are the best for you guys. Because maybe when you describe the idea, we might come up with a couple of options how it may be implemented. And it will affect the scope, the timeline, the budget. But obviously, each option would have its advantages and disadvantages. So, for instance, I don't know, like, you know, the tech stack that will be used, or like the approach to design. So we might use some pre-made templates. We might create something from scratch. It really depends. And maybe we will need to have this additional session to discuss it with you.
Got it. Okay. But still, tech part discussion when we're set with the tech requirements, offer, and then final decision.
Yes, that is the typical process, but the technical discussion might be, you know,
I understand.
one call, or maybe an addition.
Yeah, but it's also my interest, yeah, so no problems.
Definitely. And maybe you have any additional concerns at this stage or questions you'd like to address now?
No, it's useless. Like, technical part is the most important, so let's focus on that. And then, like, we'll see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you. And like, you know, whenever we have these intro calls and everything, obviously, it's not about making the final decision, because obviously we haven't made any offers yet, but still, this is all about this communication, as you mentioned. It's either you have the feeling you have this match or not. So I'm just wondering, what is your initial impression and how do you feel overall after this conversation we just had?
Well, it's a nice question to ask. I don't have any specific feeling. Like, after for 10 minutes now, I've already started deep diving into my thoughts about the technical requirements and stuff. So maybe that means I'm eager to hear more and to understand more how you work and what you have to offer. So probably that's my feedback.
Good. Very, very thankful for sharing transparently. Appreciate that. And in that case, let us dive deeper into the technical part we all look forward to.
Good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Please expect the email from me in a couple of minutes, and I will be waiting for the template from you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time talking to you. It was nice meeting you. Have a nice day. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.